I have never been this excited to play a bad game in my life. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I never played this before, but I know a lot about it. As many of you probably are aware, I am a huge dinosaur junkie and a big Jurassic Park fan by extension. And Jurassic Park Trespasser is a okay. It's not a good game, but it's a very influential game. Um, this game, the developers of Valve, the developers of Half-Life 2 said is what inspired them to incorporate the physics engine you saw in that game. There was so much ambition and effort put into this experience. So I'm hoping that today, you and I can take a look-see at what they were trying to do and see if we can get through this game. It's not a particularly long one, but it is a bit of a challenge. It's apparently not a very easy game for reasons that may not be completely intentional, but we'll get to that when we're actually in gameplay. This is the intro cutscene, which is very exciting so far. I don't know if you noticed. I'll just give you the brief history of things. This game was released in 1998. Like I said, very ambitious, really pushed the technology available at the time, was ahead of its time in many regards. And effectively, it is a survival game set on Isla Sorna, the second island, Site B, featured in The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. You play as a character named Anne, as you are witnessing now, survives a plane crash on the island, and she is forced to fight off the other inhabitants of this island in order to make her way to safety. Now, I will tell you, I am running a newer mod, because this game was actually has a very decent following. Believe it or not, that still create new levels and new mods to try to stabilize the game for modern setups. I am running Windows 10 and I'm able to run the game with this mod without much of an issue. In addition, the game you're looking at now does look a little bit different than what the launch version does, because this mod gave it a bit of a retexture to make it look just a little bit nicer. It's still not like super high res, but it does look a lot smoother than what you'd get out of the original 1998 launch. So,
it's warm.
It's definitely warm. It is the Pacific Ocean. Or, yeah, it was on that side.
I don't think I feel like swimming.
You might. Are you sure?
Okay, I really don't feel like swimming.
Did you even try? Anyway, yeah, we're not going that way. We are going to start exploring the island, and I am stuck. Which button was jump? The button's layout for the game is a little strange. That's right. Q is jump. S is not back, it is walk, which I hate. I might remap that. Back is actually the X button. So this is before the WASD standard really got fully utilized by any and all games. Now, there is full voice acting in this game. I'll point out things as we go. But the thing I haven't shown you yet, and I will as soon as the game gives me the prompt, because frankly I completely forget how the mouse controls work for it, is how the physics and work, and how you interact with the world at large. So it still has not given me the prompt, so I'm just going to say the heck with it. Behold, your tool! Woo! The entire game, you use Anne's right arm to manipulate everything. And I mean absolutely everything. She can pick up objects, she can throw objects, even objects you wouldn't think you'd be able to one-arm, like that is a steel beam. I could not one-arm a steel beam, personally. I don't think my arms are particularly weak, but it's a steel beam. And, you know, that's heavy. So, yeah. Be careful there. There's no friction in the game, which is kind of a problem. It's one of the weaknesses of the physics engine. That being said, there are...
Foundation, maybe.
The idea was that you could pick up and manipulate individual objects, which is something that was very new. Usually these are the kind of objects you just walk over or phase through or whatever, but now you can actually hit things and they'll fall over, much like you'd get out of Half-Life 2. This, I would argue, is more of a prototype to that engine because, as you are probably witnessing so far, this game does not utilize...
Foundation, maybe.
No, and utilize the physics. It utilizes them, but they're not ironed out. They're not as good as you'd think they would be. Trying to figure out. There we go. Throwing is F. We don't want to use melee weapons. They suck really bad because they're. I believe the issue is that they are weight-based, and they are given no weight, so they don't do any damage effectively. So yeah, we won't be using melee, which is fine because even if they would use it, I still don't think they would be the best choice for what we're going to be running into in this game. So the game is encouraging us early on to explore and to experience the engine they've created for the game, which is easily the most impressive part, and I totally understand that. But the whole point of this first mission is just to walk around and manipulate stuff. That's the entire idea, and I guess they wanted to show off the hard work they put in to try to make this work. But this isn't very much fun. It would be nice for this kind of thing to be integrated into the game more directly, I feel. Also, I do want to encourage you to... you guys are gonna love this. So you may be noticing there's no overlay on the screen, and that's gonna be that way this entire time. There is a mod to add one, but I don't use it. It gives you an ammo and health bar, and that I think that kind of takes away from the experience. So how do you check how much HP you have in the middle of the game? Ta-da! Yeah, you stare down at Anne's boobs. She has a heart tattoo, and whenever she's damaged, that fills up with red. If it fills up, you're dead. And I understand that in a modern gaming age, this kind of thing would be looked at as tacky and possibly slightly sexist, but I think this is absolutely hilarious, and at least they thought of a reason to look down. I don't know. I can't justify it beyond the fact that I'm a guy. Leave me alone.
The southern beach looked out over trackless ocean, down past Peru all the way to Antarctica.
That is the sound of Richard Attenborough, the guy who actually played John Hammond in Jurassic Park and The Lost World. They actually got him into the studio to record exclusive lines for this game. And I think that's incredible because it really adds more to the overall Jurassic Park universe as a whole that way, and he does a fantastic job delivering his lines. Which cannot be said for Anne's voice actress, who clearly has never voice acted a day in her life, and though she is apparently a pretty experienced screen actress, her delivery in this game, I feel, is far, far, far too casual, but I'll explain that more as it happens. That being said, we have a bit of a shooting gallery here, which the fact that this is even here is hilarious to me for a variety of reasons. Let's pick up this gun.
8 left.
This is our
heavier than I thought.
Our auto shotty, which Anne here is going to one-arm because that's how that works. In addition,
8 shots.
Drop that. Please pick Anne.
8 left.
There we go. In addition, aiming is a complete nightmare because you have to aim down the sight. There's no center reticule to go off of. I guess the idea was to add to the realism, but it's very awkward. I am going to take this because, and I'm not going to shoot it just yet because this is one of the better weapons in the game, and I would like to save the ammunition because there's no reloading. Whenever you run out of ammo, you simply pick up another gun because apparently this island is just strewn with weapons. Which doesn't make any sense, although admittedly this game was released before Jurassic Park 3, because in Jurassic Park 3 it was established that when Eric was on the island, he couldn't find any guns. Ingen had taken them all with them. But according to this game, they're just all over the place. So, I'm not sure who to believe anymore. That chair just fell apart, so that was cool. You can obviously throw objects. I'm not going to because why bother at this point, but you can throw these rocks at those cans, and what they want you to do is throw a rock at this. However, I am not going to bother with that. Put that down. We are just going to pull the I didn't actually know she could pick it up off the ground. Pick up the box and just put it down. And that was all she wrote. Okay, so we will jump up here and over the fence.
Maybe.
And off we go.
Maybe if there's a phone line or a radio.
Maybe. Maybe not. Let's find out. Yeah, the game wants me to go back and swing the baseball bat, which is another melee weapon, but again, the melee weapons are trash, so let's not do that. Ingen Construction, Site
Some
B.
kind of... Wait. International Genetic Technologies.
Doesn't actually say
That was the company from the dinosaur trial. After the trial, that old guy, John Hammond, wrote a book.
Just the
He
old
said it
guy.
was somewhere in Central America.
Somewhere.
My name is John Parker Hammond. I was born on March 14th, 1928.
Exciting.
Oh, no. Oh, God. This is Site B. This is John Hammond's Lost World.
She is correct. Now, as I said, Anne's delivery, when it comes to her lines, is very casual. She doesn't really sound like she's actually a person in the situation she's in. She goes through the game fighting dinosaurs that are trying to bite her face off, and she never really panics at any point. It's almost downplayed to a comedic level.
There must have been something in the memoir.
Which really
A
bothers me
Nobel
because
Prize or a financial
Richard
empire
Attenborough
waits
delivers
somewhere in a
his
darkened
lines
room, in a
fantastically.
dirty, derelict building somewhere in the Pacific.
As for why Anne is hearing his voice in her head, she read his memoir. So she is slowly remembering things from the book as she discovers things on the island. Now, here's another physics puzzle. This is simple. And I'm probably going to point out this at this point and stress this. Most of the physics puzzles involve pushing boxes. They don't get super de-duper creative with them at any point during the game. So don't expect much from that.
He really did it.
Brachiosaurus.
Brachiosaur, oldest of our recreations by 50 million years. The only true Jurassic native.
I love that line, because I don't know why they gave him that line, because basically every part of what he just said is a complete and total lie. Now to begin with, he says that brachiosaurs are the only true Jurassic native. That's not true, because there are stegosaurs on this island. They weren't in the first movie, but they were on the second movie. Or, in the second movie. Which had released by this point. But Anne doesn't even call it, like he says, oh, well, we didn't make any of those. Yeah, you did. They're here. They're actually in the game, too. So somebody had to know. Can you come down, please? So nobody called that out. So that's just wrong. In addition, this is a bit more nitpicky from me, but I'm still going to point it out because I feel like it. They're not the oldest recreation either. Because over on the main island, there are Herrerasauruses. Now, to be fair, that's more of an obscure note because they only appeared in Jurassic Park the game by Telltale, which came out way after this, so you may say that doesn't count. It does, because the only reason they put Herrerasaurs in the game is because you can actually see their names on the list of dinosaurs in the first movie, so they were apparently there. That being said, again, that's more obscure, so I'll give the developers some slack on that. It was just the Stegosaurs that threw me off, because I'm like, Stegosaurs were Jurassic too.
Right now.
I don't get it.
And who?
I'm not sure they ever give us our last name, so yeah, and who? You can clarify that if you want. In any event, I am going to state some dinosaur facts as we play this Let's Play, because again, Dinosaur Buff over here, and I have fun with that. That is baseball bat. We don't want that again. Now, if memory serves, I didn't play too far in my initial run test of this game to make sure it actually worked, but I think there's an enemy around here that I can't see.
8 left.
There he is! Alright. Come on, I see you. Hello! You want to talk? Talk about life? How life finds a way? Or, okay, we're just gonna...
So that's what that feels like.
Alright. Great weapon. Love this gun. No, and don't throw it! Our first enemy, as you saw, is
6
a
rounds.
raptor. I'm going to try to refrain from calling them velociraptor because that's just wrong. Most people are aware of that fact. The raptors utilized in Jurassic Park were actually based off of
The
Deinonychus,
technology,
even
the
by
real trick of it
Michael
is
Crichton's
still in
own
there.
own
In the darkened
admission.
room
He
in
just
an
changed the name
empty
because he thought
building with a
velociraptors
dirty
sounded
floor.
cooler.
It
Velociraptors
leaks.
were actually a lot smaller,
The
though they were
flashpoint.
related
The
in
origin
a
of
similar
Jurassic
class. They were about the size of chickens, whereas Deinonychus was more about the size of the raptors that you see in the movie. Now that being said, much later after Jurassic Park was made, they did
The forest
find
this wild, this
the
unknown,
Utah raptor, which
has
is
not
more
been seen
along
by
the
any
same
human
size
since the great
of the
hunters early
velociraptors
Pliocene.
presented in Jurassic Park, and they found the Utah raptor in Utah and near Montana, in the same area that Dr. Alan Grant was apparently digging them up. So it was weird that science confirmed the myth. Obviously not intentional, but it is an interesting fact. But I will simply be referring to them as raptors for the duration of this because it's not wrong. And, you know, you have to take into account movie magic and Michael Crichton taking a little liberties with science because...
Velociraptor,
No!
the small
We just went
theropod
over this.
native to China and Mongolia.
Well, that's correct.
Pack hunter,
Also
quite
right.
vicious and quite intelligent.
Probably
This was
correct
the
as well.
place.
But, still,
This used to be just an urban myth.
that wasn't an urban myth that there was a trial and everything. Well, you know, no, that's fair, because in the first part of The Lost World, a big part of that is that the fact that there were even dinosaurs was fiercely denied. The only person who was going out on a limb to try to confirm it was Dr. Malcolm.
Welcome to the city of tomorrow.
Visitor Center. This part confuses me in many ways, because the thing about Site B is that it was created as a bit of a manufacturing plant for the dinosaurs, because as it was presented in the first movie, the dinosaurs could not actually be recreated as quickly as it was presented. So Site
Welcome
B
to
was
Site
created
B, an Ingen research facility.
again, not.
For centuries,
Listen.
mankind has wondered
You're
about
not
the
listening
dinosaurs.
to me,
The
sir.
largest
I am in
land
the middle
animals
of my
ever to have
explanation.
lived. Now, thanks to breakthrough technology.
Okay, thank God that's over. Anyway, as I was trying to say, Site B was created as a manufacturing plant for the dinosaurs because whenever you go through cloning, you have a very, very low success yield. Many of the clones don't actually survive to even be born in the first place, let alone to adulthood. So they basically had to create a system where they mass-produce them. That's what Site B was for. The idea of there being a visitor center here doesn't make any sense because Site B was not supposed to be presented to the actual public. They didn't want the public to know that these creatures were effectively being manufactured because they're living creatures and public, you know, like living creatures. That's the level 1. That's exciting.